Welcome to Magic Beyond the Books. Today we are talking about the scene where Harry and Lupin argue at Grimmauld Place. I'm Renee.
And I'm Jess. Warning, there are Harry Potter spoilers in this episode.
What was your title for this episode again? I thought you had a good one.
Oh my god. I can't remember. It was like
it was like Wonder Kid and
yeah, Boy Wonder. Werewolf and Boy Wonder fight or something.
Yes.
We should name it Werewolf Gets Shamed by Boy Wonder.
I mean, honestly, it's true. Yeah, where you said Werewolf and Boy Wonder at odds.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think?
The getting shamed by I have some thoughts, and maybe I feel like I'm going to come off as harsh, but we'll get into it when we get in the episode.
Okay.
Okay, so for people that maybe don't remember or haven't visited the books in a while, we're talking about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which is book 7. This is chapter 11, which is called The Bribe. And specifically, we're just talking about the section that's page 203 to 216. That's Lupin's visit to Grimmauld Place. And in the audiobook, it's about 2.5 minutes into the chapter to about 25 minutes into the chapter. So it's like most of chapter 11. But before we talk about anything, can we talk about Lupin's hair in the chapter illustration?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I don't remember him looking like this in any of the other chapter illustrations.
Yeah, I had to like look back because I was kind of shocked and I had to like jog my memory. I think I can think of one other one where he does look like this. Like they do picture him with this like long, for reference.
Hair.
Yeah, it looks like, describing it for the audience, the chapter illustration, he's sitting in a chair with like a butterbeer and some candles, and he has the newspaper, but it has like Harry's wanted poster. And he's kind of got like a button down, and I don't know, it's hard to tell his face. Like he definitely looks older, like his face looks kind of aged. And he's got like this long, like shoulder length or maybe longer, like blondish hair.
Mm-hmm. He kind of looks like, this is probably going to mean nothing to you, but for the Stardew Valley players out there, he looks like Elliot from Stardew Valley. Where it's like long hair, almost looks like he could be like a majestic like poet person. I don't know. He kind of looks like he's from like the 1800s in this picture. I don't know how else to describe him.
Yeah, looking at this chapter illustration got me on a whole chain of like comparing the movie, a couple of people like in the movies versus their chapter illustrations or other like book illustrations. And I guess he does look kind of similar, but I don't know what to call this. Like it's like the movies compared to the books, it's like the great shortening of the men's hair. Everyone seems to have long hair in the books, and then in the movies, they're just like, we're just gonna cut that out.
Except for fucking movie 4.
Yeah, except for movie 4 when they were like, no one is getting a haircut.
I literally hated it. I don't know about you, but I prefer the shorter hair in the movies because they all look better that way. When they all had long hair, I literally wanted to cry.
When they all have that longish hair, I feel like back in like, it really makes me think of. And kids, this is probably gonna go over your head, but Justin Bieber used to have like longer hair, and they called it like the Bieber sweep. And he would like boys would wear their hair long, and they'd be constantly like flicking their head to get like their hair out of their eyes.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, and like when I look at young boys, I'm just like being a mom, I just think like, oh, it looks like you're like. Your hair is just like not taken care of. Like, so why is your mother not like having you get haircuts?
Yeah. Why is your mother not telling you to wash your hair? That's the biggest thing.
Yes. So I was thinking of a couple characters. So Lupin is one where his hair is definitely shorter in the movies than like compared to his book, like the book illustration.
Oh my god, you did all of them?
I did the ones I could think of. I'm probably missing people. But I'll share it on my Instagram too. Dumbledore, I will say, the original Richard Harris Dumbledore, his hair was super long. Like it was like down to his belt or longer. I think Michael Gambon, so movies 3 through 8, they shortened it a little bit. Like I think his hair should be a little bit longer, especially his
3 through 6. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, his So Dumbledore's hair is supposed to be longer, and is shorter in the movies. Mad-Eye Moody is another culprit. Also, Mad-Eye Moody's hair is supposed to be like way darker, and he's supposed to look way more like messed up in the face. They have like a steampunk look for him.
Yeah, because is Moody also younger in the books? He's just like more roughed up. I can't remember.
I think he's older because he's supposed to be like retired when we're meeting him.
Okay.
So, you know, whatever that is. And he's like, I think he's more closer to like Dumbledore's generation.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, his face is supposed to look like, I think Harry describes it as like someone who carved a human face out of wood, but like didn't really know what a human face was supposed to look like. Like that's how scarred his face is.
Yeah, yikes.
And his hair is supposed to be a little bit longer. It's definitely shortened. And then who else? Oh, Bill Weasley. He's a big culprit. His hair is really short, and he's supposed to have like a ponytail.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sirius Black is another one. His hair is like kind of like almost shoulder length, and I couldn't find like a great picture. There's probably one, but his hair is supposed to be super long. Like I think, especially when he's fresh out of Azkaban, it's supposed to be super long.
Mm-hmm.
And like more matted and stuff.
I wish the actor was younger as well. I mean, I like the actor who played Sirius, but it just isn't canon, I feel. I mean, same thing about Lupin though, too.
I agree. All the Marauders and like Snape and everyone's like older than they're supposed to be. Nothing against like you said, nothing against Gary Oldman. Like I thought his performance was fine, but he's like too old for the like canonic Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was it that I had. Lupin, Dumbledore, Bill, and Mad-Eye and Sirius all had shorter hair. The one person I do want to point out that has longer hair is Lucius Malfoy. And I feel like movie Lucius Malfoy seems more like canonically what a wizard would look like with like the longer hair, right?
Wait a minute. In the books, he doesn't have long hair?
In the books, I'll say this. He could have long hair, but there's nothing that says specifically that he has long hair.
Okay.
Like, it's always like, oh, his hair's like Malfoy's, and it's like, you know, he looks like, or Draco, I should say. Mm-hmm. They're always saying that Lucius and Draco look similar and have, like, similar hair, and I think they, like, slick it back, but it's never like, oh, he has, like, shoulder-length hair or waist-length hair or whatever.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. It's funny, because I just always think of the meme where it's, like, him straightening his like long blonde straight hair before he's like going to meet Voldemort, like with a straightener. Like
yes, he's like got to keep up the appearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that concludes my segment on the great movie shortening of men's
the great movie. That's what the episode should be called. The Great Shortening.
Yeah, that's what this episode's really about. Okay, so do you want to give us the quick summary of this scene?
Yes. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are camped out at Grimmauld Place after Bill and Fleur's wedding. Remus Lupin appears with a proposition for Harry. The conversation gets heated and a physical fight ensues.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, which I did not remember until I reread this.
Yeah, so much happens. And this scene...
Fight is a strong word, but...
yeah. A fight isn't an argument, bicker, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
What's like the British word? Like they have a row?
Yeah.
But before we get into it, we'll do our special segment of the week. Today's special segment is trivia. I get a lot of requests for trivia, so I try to bring it back. Are you ready, Jess?
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to be upset if I don't get this.
Okay, so I themed this trivia. So the theme is significant numbers in Harry Potter. So I'll give you a number, and then you tell me what it refers to in Harry Potter. Okay. And I'll try to start easier.
Wow, that's so much easier than doing the number. I think. Hopefully.
It should be. I try to start out really easy and then go to like hard. But
okay.
Anyway, so listeners, you can play along. And Jess doesn't know the answer, so I'll just be asking her. But okay, and there's 5 numbers total. Okay, so first number is 9 3/4.
You mean 9 3/4?
Yes.
AKA platform 9 3/4.
Perfect. Yes. The Hogwarts
Rookie.
Express train platform at King's Cross is 9 3/4. Okay, so that's your first significant number. Okay, next significant number is 7.
The 7 Horcruxes?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I was like, is this obvious?
I would also accept there are 7 Weasley children. There's also 7 like players on a Quidditch team. And I think they say 7's supposed to be the most magically powerful number. But yeah, I was going for Horcruxes more.
Okay.
Okay. Next number is 36.
Okay, question. Can I ask if this is relevant? Is it like has to do with the children? Has to do with the students?
It doesn't have to do with the students. But think about like all of Harry Potter, even outside of the magical world.
Oh my god, is it going to be something crazy? Like there's 36 locations of something?
No. Not like that.
Outside of the magical world?
Yeah. But in the books of Harry Potter.
I don't know. Is there like 36 pureblood families or something?
Okay, I'm gonna say the quote and see if it helps you. How many are there? 36.
Oh my god! The freaking presents.
Yes. Dudley's
That's
birthday.
Funny. That's really funny.
36. And then they get him 2 more, so he has 38 that year, which is insane. Okay, next number. 394.
Turn to page 394.
Exactly. Good job. All right, that is the page number that Snape tells the class to turn to when he's substituting for Remus Lupin. All right, and the last number, which I think is going to be the hardest one, is 713.
That's the vault.
Oh, good job. Okay. I probably wouldn't have gotten that one. It's the Gringotts vault that held the Sorcerer's Stone before it was removed by Hagrid. Good job, Jess.
Wow. Insert clap noise.
Okay, so let's talk about the scene, the big argument. So for reference, this occurs on August 4th, 1997. This is 3 days after Bill and Fleur's wedding, which was August 1st. And just setting the scene kind of like before, we're just for reference because we're just jumping in here if you're not reading the books currently. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione, the trio, has gone to Grimmauld Place to hide. They sent Creature off to get Mundungus because Mundungus has like stolen the Locket Horcrux. And they're just hanging out there basically. Like they're in hiding. They're waiting for Creature to come back. And it's been days and it's taking longer than they think it's going to take. And for reference, like since they fled the wedding, they have not been in contact with anyone. They don't know what's going on. They got a Patronus from Mr. Weasley saying like everyone's safe, and that's like don't contact us, and that's all they know. So they're kind of like off in the dark here. And then Lupin appears. So Lupin apparates onto the doorstep, comes in like to Grimmauld Place, and enters. And I think like Ron and Hermione, I always like get kind of confused about Grimmauld Place, and maybe you have a better perspective, Jess. But like, this is one of those houses where you like enter and then you can go down or up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a downstairs and an upstairs, or is it just upstairs?
What would be downstairs? I don't think there's a downstairs. There's definitely upstairs. Oh, downstairs is the kitchen. Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
it's probably
okay, so
you enter on the first floor or on the second floor. I mean,
okay, yeah, and then they have a kitchen. They go downstairs with a kitchen, and then the main floor is like the living room or maybe whatever, and then like you go upstairs for like the bedrooms, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Because usually it's like the really old houses, it's like the kitchen's downstairs because it's like the servants' quarters.
Oh, okay. I think Ron and Hermione at this point are like in the kitchen, or like they're not like right by the door, but Harry is like walking by or something, or he's on that floor. So he's the first one there, and then the other two appear. And they like, hold him at gunpoint, or like gunpoint. They hold him at one point and are like, who are you? Whatever. I think he has like a hood up in the beginning, and he says like, I'm Lupin. And then Ron and Hermione are just like, okay, like, come on in.
Yeah. It's funny because my first note is I forget how quickly Ron and Hermione are to trust Lupin. I'm glad they learned to question people from here on out. LOL. Because it was like, what the hell? Like, did you like forget all your training? And it's just funny to me that this is like, you've been hiding out for 3 days and you're not like even the slight bit of like, oh, cool, like, come on in. Like, what? Like,
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, there's like Death Eaters camped outside. Like the Death Eaters already found them like in the Muggle world. Like it, and also for a reference to like refresh people's memory, in book 6, it's a big like running theme that there's these security questions you're supposed to ask everyone. Like every time you get home, you're supposed to ask your wife like your safe question.
I was just thinking about the Weasleys, like whenever they're like embarrassed doing it because he's like doesn't realize that there's other people there.
Yes, I think about that too. Of like imagine you're in this world. What would you come up with as your question?
Wait, this is such a good one. What would you ask me, and what would I ask you? I would ask, how did we meet?
Yeah, but like, is that secure enough? Because
I
other
feel like
people were there when we met.
Well, we don't talk to any of those people quite. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty fucking secure knowledge.
Okay. Because that's what I always think
so
of is
funny.
like when they ask these questions, I'm like, how do you guarantee that that's the only person that would ever know that information?
Mm-hmm. Can you think of like something else that you'd ask me that like no one else would know except for us? Because it's not even like we can't say what show did we watch together because there's people who've watched that with us now.
Yeah, I don't know.
We could say like what's our second show we tried to watch and then we stopped. We watched.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That was the first thing that came to my mind after you said that. I was like, what was the second show that we tried to watch that we gave up on, or something about that show? Which should we tell the audience what show we're talking about?
We love Adam Brody. That's our saved question. I gave a little hint.
It will not be revealed. The first show we watched was Vampire Diaries, so we'll let people know that. But...
And that was a hell of a year. I'll say that.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we talking about again?
Okay, we were at save questions. How you need to have those.
Oh yes. So Harry doesn't lower his wand and is like kind of makes Lupin prove himself, and Lupin he doesn't really ask a question, but like Lupin just says like, this is my full name, I'm married to Tonks, like I taught you how to do a Patronus. He just kind of like spews off a bunch of information that lets Harry know like it's the real him. And Lupin kind of scolds Ron and Hermione, and then he comes in and he brings butterbeers for them, which I was like, this would have been like such a delight. Like, ooh, this is wonderful. He brings his butterbeers and a newspaper, and he basically sits down and gives like the lowdown of what all has been going on in the world. And this is where we learn like Scrimgeour, so the previous Minister of Magic after Fudge, was tortured for Harry's whereabouts and died without like revealing anything. And now Pius Thickness is the new minister, but really like he's under the Imperious Curse. Like Voldemort is effectively the Minister of Magic without like, sitting at a desk and declaring himself world leader.
Yeah. And what's crazy, because I feel like there is a little bit more detail if you actually like listen to the chapter or read the chapter. It's kind of crazy because everyone who works in the ministry kind of knows that Voldemort is in charge, and they're scared, but they're like scared to ask each other about it or like talk about it because they don't know who to trust. And so they just keep working for like, they're like, well, I'm pretty sure Voldemort is like, in charge of this place, but I'm just gonna keep doing my job because, like, I guess I need it. I don't know. I guess it's like the same thing for like working for like Apple or Tesla or something, where it's like you're Jeff Bezos, like, or like Amazon. You know, I don't know. It's kind of.
Well, I don't think like Jeff Bezos is gonna come and kill your family if you like disappear.
I 100%
but yeah,
believe he will. No. Okay.
It's like,
if it's a tax write-off, Renee, he'll do it.
Yeah. So everyone's scared. This is such a great setup because, and it's such a flashback to really like pre-Harry Potter. We didn't really like get that world fully, but we've gotten glimpses. And like, but the way Hagrid, I feel like I had so many like flashbacks to the way Hagrid described it, like in book 1, of like you didn't know who to trust, like it's just dark times, like there's a lot of like mystery and everyone's afraid to talk to each other because no one wants to talk to the wrong person and like have the Death Eaters come after you, basically.
Yep. Yeah. Just like last time. Yeah,
just like last time. And the Order member houses have been like searched. That was, you know, that's why they went to Bill and Fleur's wedding, and they went to all the other Order houses. And some of them were destroyed, but everyone's okay. Like, everyone's alive. And they've established this Muggle Registration Commission, the Ministry, which is basically their claim. How do you describe this? Their claim is that if you have magic, if you're like a witch or a wizard, and you don't have an immediate family member that's like a half-blood or a pureblood that you can like prove, then you are considered to have like stolen that magic somehow. Yeah. Which like many questions.
Yeah. Which, and so they do point this out. I think it's Ron who says, he's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because if you could steal magic, you know, people would be after each other's magic all the time. And also, like, there's squibs, you know, there would be no squibs if you could do that. Like, you know, there's just so many other things that would be happening, I feel, if you could steal someone's magic.
Yeah, and wouldn't, like, way more muggles, even, like, though the wizarding world is secret, wouldn't more muggles be stealing magic? Like, 100%. It doesn't...
I mean, like, there's got to be some domestic violence story where it's like this muggle man marries witch women and steals her power, and I don't know, like, you know, that would be something.
Yeah, so they're really reaching here, obviously. Like, it's clearly not, but this is their, like, way of arresting anyone who's a muggle-born witch or wizard and stopping. They also make Hogwarts attendance required, and so that also is a way to stop, like, muggle-born kids from going to school, or muggle-born wizards from going to work or whatever. Like, you're able to arrest those people under this, like, quote-unquote Muggle Registration Commission bullshit.
Yeah, because I didn't realize Hogwarts like, obviously I knew that they could choose to go to Hogwarts or like a different school. I didn't know they could be homeschooled. So it's just funny to me. I was like laughing thinking about homeschooled wizards, like, oh, is that how you do your Lumos spell? Like, you know, them getting bullied when they're like done, just like regular homeschool kids.
It's so crazy that Luna Lovegood wasn't homeschooled, because I just feel like they give like energy. Homeschool vibes, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe her dad was too busy, but they're definitely like, you know, I gotta teach you like my ideals about the world.
Yeah, homeschool energy.
And then the last piece of, you know, news dropping that Lupin does is tell them that Harry is wanted for questioning about Dumbledore's death, which is obviously genius on the part of like Voldemort. You know, Dumbledore dies, everyone's gonna have faith, or the new like rallying point for the Order and for like the people on the side of good is gonna be Harry Potter. But if you make it out like Harry Potter killed Dumbledore, then that's going to cause even more like tension and confusion in the side of good, right? Yeah. And that's like, I don't even know. I can't even remember if that's like explained in the movies or not. Like, that's how he becomes like undesirable number one, and he's like wanted and stuff, and they're getting away with it.
Yeah. They never really. I mean, we knew that the Ministry gets taken over, so then it's just assumed that the ministry is like putting out wanted posters for him, but I don't think that they say in the movie that he's wanted for question. Oh wait,
Or maybe they did. I can't.
maybe they did. When Thickness is like talking to the news, he says like wanted for questioning for the murder of Albus. But I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'll have to go rewatch that.
Yeah. So
But agreed that, I mean, this just goes back. We say this all the time, but like Voldemort and Tom Riddle is just like the smartest villain there ever was. Like he just thinks of everything. I think like before, like I don't know, he has like clever ways of getting to someone and finding him out information and then using that information to be like, I don't know, to get instill fear in others almost. And that's like why he's always information gathering.
yes, and also we have Rita Skeeter to thank for this because she's the one that she published later. She puts out this book about Dumbledore, but she does some press before that and like talks about some things, and she kind of like she says she gets, which I don't know where she gets this information, but she says that Harry was seen running from the tower like after Dumbledore fell, and that gets published in the Daily Prophet. So it's like that's for Voldemort to find out about, for like everyone to find out about, and like cast suspicion on Harry, when we know obviously like take it out of context. But again, like Rita Skeeter is just, that woman causes so much more issues than there needs to be.
What's funny is I guess because it's not, but she did talk directly about Harry in that article, because you know how Hermione does the whole thing where she keeps her in a jar when she's a bug and like threatens her, and she's like, oh, I don't think she'll be bothering us anymore. It's kind of like, did Rita just like revert and like stop being scared of Hermione or something, or like
yeah, I'm kind of confused about that because technically Rita does, they come back and she writes that article about Harry like you said in book 5. And I'm kind of confused. I don't know if maybe after she did that, Hermione was like, you're set free or something, or like, I'm going to let you start like publishing things again. Or if Rita was like, oh, it's a loophole to like publish a biography. I'm not like writing about, like, I'm not writing for the Daily Prophet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that ever gets like explained, or not to my memory.
Not to my memory either. I mean, we could look it up, but
yeah, I mean, maybe at that point the gang has bigger issues. They're just like, you know what, Rita,
like she's just gonna keep writing. Yeah,
Rita Skeeter's probably like, I know that bitch Hermione is a Muggle born. If she kind of tries to come after me, I'm gonna be like, she stole magic. Arrest her. But yeah, so
like the Salem witch trials where it's like witch.
Yes. Oh, also we should mention when they talk about the Muggle Registration Commission, Ron immediately is like, Hermione, I'll teach you my family tree. I'll make sure that, I'll say that you're like my cousin, and Ron time and time again just shows us that like he has Hermione as his number one, what he cares about.
And that's what I really love, like this book and then the book before this, very much like, I mean, this one all in, like 7th book, Ron's all in and like with Hermione, and I think it's like kind of foreshadowed at the beginning when he gives Harry the like book about how to charm, what is it, 12 fail-safe ways to charm witches, and like, yeah, so it was like, it's just cute because you can tell he read that with the intention of like being nicer to Hermione and like actually being a good partner to her. So I feel like that part of him reading that and really like understanding is like really shown throughout this book with how he defends her and how he always thinks about her, and it's just really sweet because you can definitely tell that she's number one for him.
Yeah, this book is for the Hermione shippers for sure. I mean, the whole series, if you really are reading and you don't drop all the hints throughout all the books, but this one, like, it's way more like at the surface. Okay, so then after this info dump, Lupin asks about their mission from Dumbledore, because the whole Order of the Phoenix seems to know that Dumbledore has given Harry a mission, but they don't know like the context of what it is. So he was asking, is it okay if you tell me? And then when Harry says no, he says, like, is it okay if I join you and you don't have to tell me like what you're actually doing? Which obviously, like, logistically would be really difficult because they're like constantly talking about like where the Horcrux is. Like, I don't know how they could possibly have someone with them that wouldn't know. Also,
Yeah,
logistically,
it's like
because he's a
eventually he's
werewolf.
going to like yeah, actually, did he think about that? Well, it's funny because at the point whenever he's saying this, Harry's thinking in his head like, yeah, that will be like logistically this won't work, blah blah blah. And he does start to be like, why does he want to come off with us and like leave his wife, to help us on this mission? Like, aren't you worried about her? Like, it's funny because he starts to think that, and then Hermione, of course, Hermione got there first and was like, what about Tonks? Like,
Yeah,
like,
is
it's just
everything
funny because it's like
okay? Yeah.
Harry's like getting there, right? It's in his boy brain. He's like about to get there. And then Hermione's like already asking the question, like, what are you talking about? Like, you have Tonks to worry about, So it's
Yeah,
just
her
funny because
brain
I
is
think
processing way
yeah.
faster. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like Ron probably didn't think about that at all.
Yeah, Ron's
It's like the
not
three
even
categories.
there. He's like,
yeah, it's like, because Harry, I will give Harry credit. Like, in his mind, he's very observant and he sees a lot. I mean, we see that a lot with like the whole Ron and Hermione relationship. Like, he knows what's going on,
he knows,
but he's always like, I'm not going to be the one to move this forward. This is a them thing. So it's funny because Harry he does pick up on a lot of things, actually.
He's clocking a lot. Yeah, he's just like choosing not to.
He's clocking a lot.
He is. It's like that, I see people make those like videos that are like, she knows, like Harry knows, but I think he chooses not to talk for so many things. He just chooses to like let things go. Like, for example, when they have their fight over Victor Crumb and Hermione going to the ball with him. And Hermione's like, you should have, if you had such a problem with it, you should have asked me before someone else did. And Ron's like, she totally missed the point. And Harry's like in his head, like, she got the point. Bro.
Yeah. I think you're the one missing the point, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, also side note about this, what I think is really interesting is Harry is given the secret of the Horcruxes by Dumbledore and told that he can tell Ron and Hermione. And I think like Dumbledore was intending for it to be like Harry, Ron, and Hermione on this like Horcrux mission. And which like child endangerment and so many things, but okay, we're just gonna let that go.
Yeah, but since when has Albus Dumbledore ever cared about that? Actually. They kept the school open when there were like fucking like 6 people petrified. Like, I think that he just doesn't give a shit. Like,
okay, yeah, the Dumbledore for the new Harry Potter show is the same actor that voices Lord Farquaad in Shrek.
Oh my god.
And it always makes you think of the quote where he's like, some of you may die, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing
to make. Literally.
But what I think is interesting is Harry keeps this secret. And so many times people are asking him, like Lupin's asking him, like Molly Weasley's asking him. I think so many times people are like, the Order is trying to help, like I'm not saying in a bad way, but even when they show up back at school, they don't tell all the people. They're just like, hey, by the way, we just need to find something from Ravenclaw, but we're not really going to give you context. The only person that he tells, other than Ron and Hermione, is right before he goes to die, he tells Neville and is basically like, Neville, you need to kill the snake. And like in his mind, he's like, I'm going to go die and Neville is going to replace me, which I think is such a like very interesting that Neville was chosen and shows like how much faith and trust and like respect Harry has for Neville, even after all the things with Neville.
Well, I think Neville also like came into his own, and like I think Harry had heard about what he was doing in Hogwarts during their final year, and like I think that meant a lot to Harry of like, with Harry, Ron, and Hermione gone, there was still him, Seamus, Lee Jordan, like people actually carrying through, and Ginny was a huge part of that.
Luna, yeah.
It's like they're the Order, really. that they created themselves, they were like still very true to that mission. And I think that, you know, a lot of that came through in the 5th book when Neville came to them with the ministry. Like, he really grew a pair basically. And so I think that has a lot to do with Harry's trust.
Yeah, I think the DA, all of like his performance in the DA, just in general, like working so hard to be better at spells, and then him and Luna being the only people that like responded. Well, I guess Ginny too, but like that responded to the call and like were willing to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go like help you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they tell Lupin there's just no way you're gonna be able to join us, and like, or well, they this is, sorry, going back, they're saying there's no way I'm gonna tell, like we can tell you about what's going on, and then he's asking to still join, and then Hermione asked the question about Tonks, like you were saying, like I feel like I wrote like softly pries into their marriage. She's just like, you know, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this would be my thought too. It's like, you're like, you just got married. Like, where's Tonks, you know? And Lupin comes out and says that Tonks is pregnant. And he's just like, she's pregnant. And then he's like, so can I join you? Like, he just moves right past that when they're like, oh, congrats, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he basically like doubles down and says like, so can I join you? I think I can like help. I've been your defense against the dark arts teacher, all this. And he says like, I think like this is what James would have wanted to Harry, that like, or what did he say? Like James would have wanted me to stick with you or something like this.
And you want to know what Harry says?
Yeah.
I'm sure my father would want to know why you're not sticking with your own kid, actually. I freaking just love this moment from Harry so much. Because it's such like a good comeback of like, no, actually, I think he would be like, what are you doing leaving your child? Like, what are you talking about? And it's just so funny to me that it's like, I mean, this goes back to how we say like there's some parts in the series where Remus and Sirius really treat or see Harry like James. And I think this was like one of the times that Lupin wasn't prepared for Harry to be like James, in the sense that I think that like Harry giving it back to him and being mad is the exact same reaction that James would have had. And I think that is what hurts Lupin the most, and that's why he went like it described it as him going like ashen faced, and there was such like a lot of tension in the room. There was a funny moment where it said that Ron was like, to avoid the situation, Ron was like looking around the room, like darting his eyes around the room, like he had been tasked with like he's gonna just have to describe it by like because
he's like looking at everywhere but at them.
Yeah, literally. And then Hermione's just like looking back and forth between them frantically, like being like, oh God, what's going to happen? You know? So I thought that it was like a really like, I don't know, it was a really cool moment that Harry has this natural reaction. And I think that is what made Lupin react the way he did, because he wasn't expecting him to have James's reaction or like a very heated, reaction to the situation.
Yeah, he escalates it very quickly. But I also think it's, in my opinion, I think it's kind of inappropriate to claim the wishes of a dead person that is not there right now. You know, like to
serve your own purpose.
To serve your own purpose. Yeah. For him to use James as a tool like against Harry to say like, oh, you should bring me because that's what James would have wanted.
That's literally like, Renee, you know, my grandma would really love if you wrote me a check for $10,000. She'd just love that.
It's like weaponizing like a loved one that's deceased. It's like weird. I just like don't like it at all. Like it's one thing to be like, you know, your father would have been proud of you and like, you know, kind of like using it in a positive way, or just saying like, your father and I were really close and I really loved him and I see the similarities in you. Like that's different than like being like, in this situation, he died 17 years ago, but in this situation he would have done da 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 da. It's like, what? No, like Don't speak for him.
Yeah, yeah. But I will say it goes into Lupin starts giving his reasons for leaving that are actually very like heart-wrenching. It's like, you know, Tonks is going to be shamed, like her parents are already like hate that she married a werewolf. She's going to be shunned by society for the rest of her life. I already felt guilty about marrying her. Now she's pregnant. He was like, I can't imagine the type of like, you know, he's basically saying like his kid will be ashamed of him for being what he is. It's just like all of his deep-seated fears and like what he's experienced his whole life, and now he has brought the woman that he loves and then a new child into the world. About like, it's like almost like he's carrying all that shame with them now, and he's giving that shame to them, he feels. And it's
Yeah.
just sad because it's like, that's, you know, that's how he's carried himself his whole life. So I can imagine what he's like going through. Obviously I don't agree with like what this, you know, how he's trying to like join them on the hunt, but
Yeah.
I can understand where he's coming from, because it is kind of like sad, all of the reasons why he's like, this is why I'm like, this shouldn't have ever happened. Like, I should have never married Tonks. I shouldn't have gotten her pregnant, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. He definitely like they this gets covered like more in the third book too, where he just like deals with a lot of like shame and everything. But like where it just annoys me because I'm like, bro, like you've got to like process, you need to go to therapy. Like you've got to
Yeah.
process this because like the world is
Werewolf
at war
therapy.
and you have a
Or
child
maybe
and a
there's like a
wife.
werewolf support group or something. Like, you would think
Yes.
they'd have that, of like people who turn into werewolves.
Yes, like
Yeah.
seriously, it like it just frustrates me because I'm kind of like, if you were, he keeps saying like I regret marrying Tonks because of these reasons that is like really like I care about her, but it's like, but you did though, and you also
Mhm.
like got her pregnant, so it's kind of like you're in the situation, so you kind of
Yeah,
got to
it's,
step up and deal
yeah.
with it, I feel like.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, I mean, I think that's true in even like modern dating, right? It's like once you're married to someone, it's kind of like, well, even if something comes up, you're married. You got to work it out. You know, obviously you can get divorced, but that's the whole idea of marriage, is like, no matter through the good or the bad, you're going to work this out, and like you're in it together. And it's almost like he's like trying to take himself out of the marriage and out of the situation completely, which is so unfair to Tonks. I wish we got so much more of their relationship, because it's like we don't even know really how they got together. We just knew they were like working near each other, trying to protect, like be in the order, and then they just fell in love. We don't even see Tonks's reaction to Lupin leaving, like if she was upset about his reaction, how she feels about it. Like, we
I
didn't
was
get
thinking
any
that
of that.
too. I'm like, does she even know that he's here?
Yeah,
Does she know that
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
yeah. Does she
offering
know that he's
himself?
offering this? Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And also, I want to go back to the comment about her parents being ashamed. I'm just going to, I know we don't really know, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that's bullshit. Because Andromeda Tonks married Ted Tonks, who is a Muggle born and was like exiled for it from her whole family. This is the
Mhm.
sister of Bellatrix Lestrange and Narcissa Malfoy, like in all the issues of the Black family. And she was shunned for her marital choice. So, are you really going to tell me that she's going to go turn around and shun her daughter for her marriage choice? Also, we know that she ends up, after they pass away, she ends up raising Teddy.
And they literally name the kid Ted after the dad. So it's like, yeah,
Yes.
they are, yeah, it's very much like, I think, a happy little family going on here. Happy dysfunctional family.
Yes, and we get a little bit of them like in the books. Like Harry actually goes to their house and meets Ted Tonks and Andromeda Tonks, and like they're perfectly great. And so and what we know about Tonks, like she's cool, she's an aurora, seems to have turned out well. Like she doesn't seem to have like problems with her parents, but
Mhm.
so I'm just kind of like, bullshit. I'm sorry, but like, bullshit. Like
Yeah.
you're projecting that
Mhm.
because the way you feel, not because of
Mhm.
anything that they've said.
Yeah. And then what's funny is like in the middle of this fight, right? So so Lupin says like, "Oh, you know, they would be ashamed of me, like the child." And Hermione goes, Lupin, don't ever say that. Who could be ashamed of you? Like having you for a dad. And Harry...
That's where Harry doubles down.
Harry doubles down. He goes, oh, I don't know, Hermione. I'd be pretty ashamed of him right now.
The Harry
just like Harry's so just a freaking badass. I love Harry in the books. Like, and that's what I mean. It's like he's such like a good main character. And it's just because I like these like raw reactions that he has, and he always just. And I will say he doesn't always say it in the most eloquent way, right? He could probably, if he took a step back, he'd be like, Lupin, none of this is true. You should stay with Tonks. Can you imagine not having a father? But obviously this is very close to home for Harry. So it's just really funny that it's like he is so raw, but he's always so good. Like he is so good-natured. That's like the whole point of the series, right? Is that no matter what, he's going to do what is right, even if it's hard. And that's what I mean. He's choosing to like get in an argument with Lupin rather than just let him like come with them or, like say like, no, you shouldn't, you're being stupid. Like you should not leave your kid right now. Right. Like making him feel bad. And he's saying like, maybe it'll make him go back to the child if he feels bad though, So
yeah.
I think he's always right. It's even if it's unconventional, Harry's just a badass.
Yes, I will say the only thing you have, in my opinion, the only thing you have on Harry is that he didn't do it. He could have said this a lot better, but I agree with everything that he said. Like,
yes,
I think he makes good points and is also, like you said, is close to home. He's not just thinking about his parents. He's like, they talk about this, like after Lupin leaves, he's thinking about Dumbledore. He's thinking about Sirius and how he's had to literally like watch people die that were like parental figures to him.
Yes, I literally have written down the scene is about to make me cry with Harry thinking about all of his parental figures dying because he thinks about them and then he says parents shouldn't leave their kids unless they have to. And like I think him saying that is parents shouldn't leave their kids unless they die. Unless they're dying protecting them. Because that's so crazy that like, oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Because really when you think about all those people that he's thought about, it's Sirius, Dumbledore, and both of his parents. They all died protecting Harry. Like, in a nutshell, right?
Completely,
like completely like to protect him and to keep him alive. And it's just very, very sad that like, that's like, I don't know, something that he has to live with, I guess. And that's what he's thinking about is like, my parents shouldn't have had to leave me, but they were protecting me. And he's like, here's Lupin about to walk away from his kid when he's alive and well,
Yeah. Yes. And Harry, even later, like, I have so many gripes about the way they like did the final battle in the movies. In the books, like Molly's fighting Bellatrix and Molly kills Bellatrix, Molly Weasley, and then Voldemort after Bellatrix gets killed, Voldemort turns to Molly Weasley like, you're next, bitch. And Harry steps in front of Molly Weasley, and that's how he starts his confrontation with Voldemort, because I feel like Harry is like, I am not having another parental figure die, like, protecting me. Like, I will step between this, literally.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we should say the like, in this fight with Lupin, so when Harry says these things to him, Lupin gets so upset and literally, like, casts a spell to, like, I don't know, push him or, like, like, make him, like, move across the room and he, like, hits a wall or something. And then just,
I completely forgot. Yeah, I forgot that happened. Like, I forgot that was, like, the final thing is, like, Lupin literally, like, flashbangs Harry and Harry goes flying across the room. Yes. And it even said, like, after he left, Harry, like, gets up and he was, like, he felt a knot forming in his head. So Lupin, like, caused real damage to Harry, like, and he just wasn't going to care about that in the moment, I guess. But, it's a typical, like, he didn't want to hear that. He lashed out and left. So it was an intense ending to the scene.
It is crazy. And then, like, Hermione's trying to get him to, stay, and he leaves. And then Hermione and Ron immediately turn on Harry. And they're like, you shouldn't have said that stuff. Like, I don't know.
But I guess it's like too kind of like what we were just saying. It's like, oh, Harry could have said that better, because that's kind of what Hermione was trying to do, right? She was saying like, that's not true. You shouldn't believe that. Therefore, this shouldn't be an issue. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. But it's also like Ron and Hermione both have their parents alive and have not lived through what Harry has lived through. So that's why I think Harry had such a strong reaction.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like, I don't know. I feel like Ron is just very avoidant. We've talked about this before, but you know, like even during the argument, he's just like doesn't want to be there. I think he's like very uncomfortable with like confrontation. And so I guess that tracks for him is he's just like, just don't cause a fight with Lupin, even if you have to tell him no. But Hermione, I feel like Hermione like is, you know, empathetic to Harry and his experiences. But even her, like, giving him a hard time, I'm kind of like, but you guys can admit he has a point, though, right?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. They never get to the point of, like, well, yeah, like, they never say, like, he should join us, but they're never, like, kind of, like, say, no, that would have been weird. Like, I don't know. It just kind of, that's how the argument ends, is, like, Lupin's gone and they just get on Harry and no one ever addresses, like, you know, what could have happened, or if they even wanted him to be on the journey with them, which I feel like Ron would have wanted that, but like, you know, Hermione and Harry would have known that that was not really possible.
Yeah.
But it's like also like maybe he could have helped them in a different way, where it was like maybe like kind of like how he pops up and gives information, you know, to them at some point, or maybe they could converse through fireplaces. I don't know, something. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Or they could have had him, I don't know. They could have tried to have him do stuff for them, like when they thought that I don't know, like
Werewolf
I don't really
bodyguard.
know. Yeah.
They chain him up, and once a month,
like, he's not safe for you. Like when he turns into a werewolf,
yeah,
like he has to then go hide somewhere away from you anyway, because he's
also
that was
not
safe.
Like addressed at all.
Yeah, I'm just like, Lupin, you didn't want to go to school and you don't want to be a teacher at school because you were so nervous about like hurting other people, and yet you're like, I'm gonna go camp with these 3 like teens, or I guess they're like legally adults, but like be on the run with them. And this
I think it's because he's like, oh, I can die. It doesn't matter if I die. So he's just gonna go and do the most dangerous thing where he's useful, which was going on this trip with them.
I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like not thought through. Just so many things. But yeah, I did want to share with you. So the side note, there's another Harry Potter podcast called Potterless that I've listened to, and it's like a pretty popular one. So I think if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you've already listened to it. But if you haven't, it's a podcast that's this like, he says like, I'm a grown man and I'm like reading Harry Potter for the first time. And he goes like chapter by chapter and like does reactions and stuff. So if you're interested in like that kind of format, it's a good like podcast. It's like fun for someone like just like seeing someone discover it for the first time. The guy's name is Mike Schubert, by the way. And then he like, I think after he finishes the whole series, he like goes into other like sub things and whatever. But I just thought it was funny because the episode that he covers this particular scene, it's episode 64 of his podcast. He, like, him and another guy made this like rap battle kind of thing, like about this scene, which I'll share with you, Jess, but you can go and listen to it. It's kind of like one person raps like from the perspective of Harry kind of, and then the other person like does a rap reaction like from the perspective of Lupin, if that makes
like
sense.
A rap battle.
Yeah, like it's kind of like a little mini like rap battle. And it's like 3.5 minutes long. So I'll play it for you, Jess, now, but like listeners, you can go listen to it on your own. But
what is it? 6 years of school and all you're doing is disarming.
I mean, that was a real
It's
bird.
so funny. Yes, because it's literally like how Harry always uses Expelliarmus.
Yes, he literally like that is his go-to spell like over and over. And I thought
That
they
is
did.
so funny.
There were so many things. The keep my father's name out your mouth. It was like, yes, that's what I made. And then,
Yeah.
but he did have a good, like the way Lupin sees this. He says, "I've condemned them to poverty, a life of inequality, a robbery, atrocity, and now to be fatherly. The best thing I can do is leave them alone. By protecting you, I protect them, and I can atone." I thought that was a good summary of how Lupin feels about it.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I'm like, damn, are we gonna have to start making raps on this show?
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, this would be hard to come up with raps for every scene.
I just don't even want to imagine us trying that.
Yeah, I don't.
I
think
like
we
the baby toys thing we did.
The what? Oh, the baby toys.
The baby toys.
The audio. Yeah.
Yeah. We should just make cinematic audiobooks and just read and then have noises in the background.
Yes, we're gonna do good aesthetic noises. We're gonna do write our own fan fiction, Harry Potter fan fiction, and then we're gonna produce it as a cinematic audiobook with lots of background noise.
Director Rene. Well, how I would shoot this scene. I would have done this.
Director Rene has a lot of takes. Director Rene that hasn't directed anything.
Yeah.
I've directed a lot of things in my mind, okay? But yeah, but I think that summarizes the scene. Do you want to go into kind of the aftermath, follow-up scenes from this?
Yeah.
They're this scene doesn't get resolved in the moment, but later in the book, so two things happen that kind of are Lupin's response afterwards. So first small thing is Lee Jordan has this radio show and Lupin appears on the radio show as quote unquote Romulus. And so this is books again in book 7, chapter 22, which is called The Deathly Hallows is actually the name of the chapter. Quote unquote Romulus, aka Remus, appears on the show, and they talk. It's Kingsley and Remus and Lee Jordan, and they talk about a lot of things that are the status of the world. But then they have this section that's called The Boy Who Lived, and or Keeping Up with Friends of Potter or something like that. And they talk about Harry. And so Remus specifically is talking about Harry, and he says, "The boy who lived remains a symbol of everything for which we are fighting: the triumph of good, the power of innocence, and the need to keep resisting." And then Lee Jordan asked Lupin directly, what would he say if he knew that Harry was listening? And Lupin says, "I'd tell him we're all with him in spirit," said Lupin, and then hesitated slightly. "And I'd tell him to follow his instincts, which are good and nearly always right." Oh. So I feel probably pretty quickly after the Lupin walked out the door, he probably kind of came around to what Harry said, or realized that even though Harry said things in a harsh way, he understood why he said what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think it's his way of kind of apologizing without even knowing if Harry will hear it, which I think it's so sweet that Harry does actually hear this, because it's how many times do they probably do this and they're not in a situation where they can hear the broadcast. Mm-hmm. So it's just sweet that Lupin, no matter what, he doesn't know if Harry can hear it. He's saying I tell him to follow his instincts. They're good and nearly always right, because that's him admitting Harry was right about what the fight was about. So I think it's really sweet on Lupin's part that he's kind of, he knows Harry was right and he's going to say it out loud to a bunch of people, and Harry doesn't even need to be listening for him to admit that. He can fully admit that. Yeah.
And he can't obviously give all the context of, what the argument was and everything like that for the public, but this is his way of kind of saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
So there's that, which like you said, Lupin on Lupin's end, he doesn't know that Harry ever even hears it. He's just saying that. The next time Harry and Lupin actually see each other was at Shell Cottage. So that's book 7, chapter 25, which is called Shell Cottage, and it's when Harry, Ron, and Hermione and others are staying with Bill, and Lupin appears and he announces that Tonks had the baby, which I don't think Lupin knows that they're there. He's just going to tell like Bill and Fleur, but then they happen to be there. And he just like, literally Lupin comes in, says Tonks had the baby, it's a boy, like he's named Ted after Tonks' father. And then the first thing he does, he like says that, then he walks around the table and hugs Harry. Like there's like a bunch of people in this room, like Bill, Fleur, Ron, like Hermione. I think Luna and Dean are there.
Yeah, Luna.
That like he asks him to be the godfather of, like, he hugs Harry, asks him to be the godfather, and Harry says like, this is like the scene in the basement of Grimmauld Place might never have happened, or something like that. Like, and Harry's like surprised when he asks him to be the godfather, but is like, agrees. And then Lupin leaves immediately after because he has to like go back and be with his wife and baby. But I think again, this is like him apologizing without really apologizing, and them like making their peace.
Yeah. And I thought it was cute. He does say it when he asks, he goes, like, Harry says, "Oh my gosh, me, really? Like, are you sure?" And Lupin says, "Dora quite agrees. There's no one better." And it made me like want to tear up, because to me it's really sweet that was like they wanted to immediately name Harry the godfather. It makes me feel like they believed in him so much that he was going to survive the war and live to see the end of it, to meet their child. It's like, obviously Harry's probably not the most like, he's the one that's key that this mission is on. They have no idea if he's going to live or die. But even if he died, they wanted him to be the godfather. I just like thought that was really, really sweet. It just shows that they loved him and they respect him, and they, even if he's not going to be around for a while, they wanted him to be the godfather. Like, and then literally they're the ones who die, and Harry actually has to be the godfather. That's what's kind of crazy. I mean, obviously he doesn't end up raising Teddy because Andromeda does, but obviously he's still like in his life.
He's like involved. Yeah. Like he's not like Ted isn't living at his house, but like he's involved with, raising him and stuff. Yeah, having a like wanted criminal as a godfather is a running theme. And
oh wait, that's actually so cute, because it's like Harry and Sirius. Wow.
Yes, and actually what I did love is, so Lupin leaves and they do a cheers to Godfather Harry, and they finish their dinner, and then after this, unrelated to all this Lupin stuff, Bill and Harry have a conversation, because Bill knows that Harry's planning something with Griphook, and this is the whole like bank heist thing. And Bill gives Harry this warning about like how goblins are, and like be careful making deals with goblins, and they have different ideas of like gold ownership and things like that. And Harry just kind of has to be like, I'm just going to do this bank heist anyway, because I just have to. But he goes to bed thinking that he is turning out to be like just as reckless of a godfather as Sirius was to him, like that he is to Ted. And I just think it's like so cute.
Yeah. Aww. It's really cute how it all like, I don't know, I just love that little trio of like, they're like Remus, Sirius, and Harry. I think it's like a very special like relationship that they all have.
Yeah, they really do. There's a lot of things, like little moments between them, and like in some ways Harry is kind of like a James in the group, or like a replacement James. But even after Sirius dies, in some ways I think they draw parallels of him and Sirius.
Yeah.
And him stepping up and like being like a Sirius figure. So it's just, it's very cute, like their relationship. Okay, so that really like concludes that scene, and like really the aftermath of it. So like to conclude, it seems like Lupin came around to Harry, and Harry's the one that was right. But who do you think your like hero of the scene and or villain of the scene was?
I'm gonna stick with hero of the scene is Harry. I think he did the hard thing. It was obviously what he always has to do. He has to do the hard thing. He has to say the thing that, no one really wants to hear, but he's gonna do it because it's the right thing to do. So Harry is our villain, or Harry is our hero of the scene.
Yes, yeah. I agree. I'm with Harry being the hero. And I'm gonna go ahead and put Lupin as the villain. The most villain thing too is that Harry says, is quoted in the book. He thinks that this is the only time where he sees Lupin, and he sees like the werewolf behind the man when he's not a werewolf. Like he sees him, and he's like, for the first time, I see like him as a werewolf when he's not transformed. And I feel like that's really like going into that like Lupin access a darker side of himself in this scene.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like he ends up not being a villain by the end of it, you know what I mean? But it is in that moment he was making I want to say like a selfish choice, because not thinking about Tonks and not thinking about his baby.
Yeah, I just think it's like you're just projecting onto other people and making decisions for them instead of letting them make their own decisions,
Yeah.
And then what was your favorite quote from the scene, or quote or moment?
I think he'd want to know why you're not sticking with your own kid, actually. Definitely that.
Yeah, and then he follows up, he says, my father died trying to protect my mother and me, and you reckon he'd tell you to abandon your kid and go on an adventure with us? I think like Harry making some great points, but I would say my favorite quote was probably the parents shouldn't leave their kids unless they've got to. Like
that was a good one too. Yeah,
that's a really like sad one. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening.
Next episode we'll be discussing Horace Slughorn. Until then, happy reading, happy listening, and may you never get into a fight with a werewolf.